All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to begin. It is 4:05. Again, I appreciate anyone who has attended today. I know we're all very busy and probably zoomed out at this point, so I appreciate you being here. Again, we're also going to record this for families, so if you have friends or folks you know who need this information, let them know to check Parent Square probably this evening, and they can view this video to get all the information regarding our reopening plan for next week. So I'm going to get started. As you all are aware, hopefully it is Women's History Month. So we are celebrating women to the fullest at Lenfest this month. We had a fantastic Black History Month last month with lots of events, and we're trying to do the same thing to honor women here at Lenfest. I wanted to spotlight some of the activities that will be happening this month. So if you follow us on Instagram, you're well aware that we have a lot of activities happening. Self-love workshop, workshops on healthy relationships. Um, I participated in the Blue Table Talk last night regarding just sisterhood and defining that and supporting that. And we have a lot more events coming up. So we encourage students and stakeholders and families to participate in our events. They've been a great success thus far. And we have a calendar that's gone out. If you follow us on Instagram, you can use this calendar. And we also post about individual events via Instagram. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, highly recommend it so you can be in touch with what's happening during the month. And this is just a little snapshot from the Blue Table Talk that happened yesterday. It was very successful, awesome conversation. And again, we encourage folks to participate. We always start out with our virtual norms. We start out our classes with these norms, and we're going to start out the meeting with these norms. So make sure that your mic's muted, that you are engaging, you're all in, that your video's on if possible. And if you have questions, feel free to use the chat, and we'll get to questions throughout the presentation. Here's our agenda. A look at our agenda for tonight. We are going to discuss health and safety, student technology expectations, the classroom experience. We're actually going to observe some videos from our Pickett campus. Pickett welcomed back sixth graders last week, and we're going to observe some live classes from their week with sixth graders. And we're going to talk about school culture. Ms. Hinton, one of our deans for middle school, is here to talk us through school culture expectations, and then we'll answer any questions that you have. First, let's start off with some introductions. So we have members of the leadership team here, and also, I believe, Miss Spearman is here, one of our teachers. So thanks, Miss Spearman, for coming on. I really appreciate you. Let's start off with our leadership team, and then we'll allow Miss Spearman to introduce herself. Why don't we start off with our assistant principals of instruction, Miss Johnson, Miss Walsh, and Miss Biondi. Would you like to start?
Yeah, hi. Happy Thursday, everybody. I am Miss Johnson, one of the assistant principals of instruction, primarily supporting with math and science. So go STEM. Also Pi Day is coming up. But just really excited to welcome back our babies into the building next week. Really looking forward to just seeing the kids. I'm very excited. I hope that they're really excited. So yeah, turn it over to Mrs. Walsh and then Miss Biondi.
Hi, my name is Jackie Walsh. I am one of the assistant principals as well. Just like Ms. Johnson, I support instruction, but I work with our humanities teachers, so history and English composition. So again, we are really excited for students to return to the building. And Ms. Biondi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ms. Biondi. I'm an apprentice school leader of instruction. I work very closely with math and science teachers, and I am so excited to meet your students in person. This is my first year at Lenfest, so every student in the school I've only seen on Zoom so far, so I'm looking forward to meeting everyone.
Thanks, guys. And now I'm going to turn the mic over to our student supports team, Mrs. Hester Harrell and Miss Pace, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Good evening. Just like everyone, I'm super excited. I'm also new, so just being able to see our babies in person and give them the supports they need. As the assistant principal of specialized services, we're making sure your children have the transportation per their IEPs, accommodations they need, and also that they feel emotionally supported. So we will be working with you guys and with case managers. I'm going to turn it over to Pace.
Hi, everyone. I am Teresa Pace. I'm the lead case manager here at Lenfest. I'm also very excited to see all the kids return and finally get to see their faces in person again. And like Ms. Hester said, we support our students for their IEPs, making sure everything's implemented correctly and with fidelity. So if you have an IEP coming up, you'll see me in their meeting. So I'm just excited to get back to normal.
And Ms. Hinton, our middle school dean of students, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all. I am Ms. Hinton. I'm the 7th and 8th grade dean, in charge of just making sure the flow of the floor is safe and that the kids feel supported.
Awesome. And our assistant principal of operations, Morgan Mastrolette.
Hi, everyone. I'm Morgan Mastrolette. Many of you have seen me and have heard me talk about health and safety, which I'll get into in just a moment. This is my 7th year at Mastery, my 2nd year as APO at Lenfest.
And Ms. Spearman, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Ms. Spearman. This is actually my 3rd year, while time flies, at Mastery. I teach 7th grade ELA. I wish I could be in the building with you guys, but I have an extenuating circumstance that's preventing me. But the gracious folks here at Mastery have allowed me to work from home. So I will definitely be with you in spirit, and I'm always by my cell phone. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks, Ms. Spearman. And I am Chris Yamba. I'm the principal here at Lenfest, and it's great to see you all. We were going to get started. I'm actually going to turn the mic over to Morgan Mastrolette. She's our assistant principal of operations. She's going to walk us through health and safety and student technology expectations. Go ahead, Morgan, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Chris. So as you all know, safety is our #1 priority. We have been working tirelessly to make sure that every single thing is adhering to the CDC guidelines and continuing to adapt and change as numbers change and as we learn more. So just a little bit of context on how we've come up with a lot of the decisions that we've made. So beginning last May, Mastery made up a working group that was full of Mastery staff and administrators to develop this plan. And as I've mentioned, it's driven by CDC guidance, through our Department of Public Health, and through CHOP. And as I mentioned, we will continue to evolve and make decisions based on cases and the current reality and landscape. So just a few things that are put in place, but also a huge ask that we have for you all and your students as we're thinking through coming in the building, and again, prioritizing safety. Social distancing is all of our responsibility. So at all times, we should be 6 feet in distance. I have also made sure that class sizes are small. We have, CDC guidance has said no more than 15 kids in a class. And we have, as of now, less than 10 in every single classroom, which gives plenty of room to make sure that students are socially distant. And we will continue to joyfully remind kids and staff alike that it's very, very important to keep our distances. And lastly, we also have plexiglass partitions for staff. And I have created a small little box in the front of the room so that folks know not to go into the box. And also there's stickers on each table. Masking. So masking is all of our responsibility. We have KN95 masks available for kids. And in the instance that a kid forgets a mask, we have plenty of replacements, but please make sure, especially if your students are traveling via the subway, to make sure that they leave the house with a mask so that we can ensure that they're coming into the building safely. So again, distancing, masking, and hand washing. We have installed hand sanitizer stations in every hallway, but every single teacher also has adequate spray and hand sanitizer and wipes to make sure that rooms are continuously cleaned. Our cleaning company has also increased their capacity too. So we have more folks cleaning, and they're cleaning regularly. And that's something that I monitor really closely every single morning. I walk through the building. I make sure that the building is clean to a very, very high standard. I also make sure I set alarms to walk through the building multiple times throughout the day so that all really high traffic touch point areas are being cleaned regularly. COVID testing. So Mastery is really, really lucky. We have been able to get COVID testing every single week. And we've seen so much success with this at other campuses. There also it has been proven that it reduces in-school transmission by over 60% due to regular testing. So I've opted for the saliva-based test. So we're not doing the nose nasal swab, but the saliva tests are super easy, and we are very lucky to have multiple nurses and nursing aides on staff every day who are going to be supporting with the COVID testing. So just to go into a little bit more detail in terms of COVID testing. So first, you all should have received an email in your inbox it's specific to you. So the link can't be shared, but if you need it, I'll provide my email at the end of this, and you can just shoot me an email if you didn't receive it. You should fill this out regardless to whether you will consent or not. So again, COVID testing is fully optional. It's highly recommended, but it is optional. On the consent form, you should either check, yes, I consent that my child can receive a COVID test every week, or no, I do not consent. So again, that form is mandatory, and we will work with you all to make sure that we get responses from everybody so we can be sure that people that want to be tested are tested, and that people that don't want to be tested are not. So testing is going to occur on Tuesdays and Wednesdays based on whatever cycle day that your student is assigned. And if in the event that they're absent on those days, they will test on either Thursday or Friday, depending on what is their next school day. The results come back 2 days later. You can assume, if you don't hear from me, that it is all good and your student's test came back negative. If your test is positive, we will reach out to you. However, your identity is 100% confidential and nobody will know. And Mastery is really, really taking the high road and ensuring that we are having full test transparency. So if you go to this website, we actually are showing on a dashboard of how many which schools have had positive tests based on the pool number, so the amount of tests given. And Mastery is just making sure that we're keeping families in the loop so you all can make informed decisions whether you think hybrid or a fully virtual model is the right move for you. So just a few other things, ventilation and air filtration. So Mastery has invested $4 million, and that's actually the same amount as the entire SDP, and we have way fewer schools. So just for a little bit of context on how this happened, we had a third-party vendor come out, so someone not affiliated with Mastery. They went into every single classroom, they measured the square footage, and then they used some fancy machine that I don't know how it works, but it was able to calculate air filtration and ventilation, and anything that wasn't up to code, or if there were any issues, they made sure to fix it. So Lenfest is 100% good to go. There should be no concerns on this. So they did a very thorough job. And so just, as we have continued to mention, and as it says on the news regularly, if you're sick, please stay home. Upon entrance, which we will go into in more detail later, students will get daily temperature checks, and we will also have a questionnaire. So our nursing staff will ask kids if they have any of these symptoms. So really, take a look at these symptoms. If your student is exhibiting any symptoms, please, for the safety of our staff and our other families and students, please make sure your student stays home. And lastly, I'm sure you all are aware of this by now, but just the difference between virtual and hybrid. So virtual students are going to remain the same as they currently are. So they will follow their normal schedule, 4 days a week, Tuesday through Friday. Monday will still remain asynchronous for all students. If you are hybrid, you will be assigned either A days or B days. A days are Tuesdays and Thursdays. B days are Wednesdays and Fridays. You should have received some parent square notifications on which days are for your student. We will also be sending it out again tomorrow, so you can look out for it. Please just call the front desk if you have not received this information. So that is all for health and safety. Please feel free to either unmute yourself if you have any questions, or you can put questions in the chat and we will answer them. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving, but if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat and I will loop back and take your question. So I'm gonna go into student technology and expectations. This is very, very important. So every single day, students should be bringing to school their fully charged laptop, their charger, their case, and headphones. If they have headphones that they love from home or ones they got originally, please make sure they bring them. We will be able to provide a second set of headphones. But again, your child can bring whatever headphones they prefer to use. But it's really, really important that we have all of these things. The second thing I want to note is, now students are going to be maybe taking the subway or walking or taking the bus, various methods of getting to school. And that is where accidents happen. So computers can break and drop. Mastery has very graciously even replaced a second laptop, but beyond that, it will be a $250 fee because the school is paying the cost of the laptops. So again, if you break your laptop, accidents happen, we understand. Mastery will replace the laptop, but if it breaks or shatters again, then it will be $250. I want to go over some just technology frequently asked questions. These have been coming up and they're great questions and great points. So in the rare event that a student leaves and forgets their laptop, what happens? So students will receive a loaner laptop. It's going to have a nice sticker that indicates it's a loaner and they'll get it immediately when they walk in. And at the end of the day, staff will collect the laptop. So they can't take it home, but we will be able to provide them a loaner laptop during the school day. And then similarly, if a computer loses its charge during the day, which we anticipate potentially happening, there actually are two routes. We have extension cords, so kids can charge their computers at lunch, or we also have our tech team is incredible and they're going to have a bunch of computers on hand so kids can follow the loaner policy in that circumstance too. They can swap it out, tech will charge their computer and then actually deliver it and swap it back so they get their original back. And then lastly, if you have computer issues, tech is still handling all of these independently from me. So you will still follow the exact same protocol, which is you're emailing the home support at masteryk12.org and they will get back to you and take care of it. So if you have any questions about tech or health and safety, you can put them in the chat. My email is also in my little Zoom name, so you can definitely write that down and reach out to me via email. I am here to answer any questions that you have. I know this is a lot of information, so if you need to process it and then reach out for a question, feel free to do that. Thank you all.
All right, we will also take questions at the end. So if you have them at the end and they're related to technology, that is completely fine. We are going to now go on to the student classroom experience. So students, like Morgan said, will attend school 2 days per week. They will then attend school virtually 2 days per week. It will be in the same class. So this will be called simultaneous teaching. So students will participate either in the classroom or virtually. And you can see a model of our classroom here. Teachers have a boom mic, so students can be heard, and they can be heard when they're participating on with the Zoom students. And teachers will be teaching both virtually and with a group of students in their classroom. Students will have their computers in the classroom, so they'll be able to participate in their Nearpod or Google Drive or whatever is happening in the virtual classroom. And again, Monday is a day for independent learning. We're going to see this in action at the end of the presentation, so you will see this actually happening at one of our mastery schools when we end the presentation. We also will have some classes that happen in the gym. So when Miss Spearman introduced herself, she named that she'd be working from home. So we have a few teachers that will be working from home, and students will be able to zoom into those classes in our cafeteria. Our cafeteria is set now to hold up to 50 students with social distancing in place. Students may participate in the cafeteria up to 2 classes per grade. And remember, those teachers are teaching virtually. That's the amount of teachers we have teaching virtually in the middle school. And again, all safety protocols are in place in the cafeteria, including 6 feet social distancing and wearing of masks. Lunch will also happen in the cafeteria. It will be socially distanced, but lunch will take place in the cafeteria. In terms of expectations for your student, Morgan mentioned bringing the laptop. The students can also bring their own headphones. We will provide a set, but if they want to bring their own headphones, that's going to be very important, especially when they're participating in the cafeteria. They should bring their textbook and also their book for literature. All that is very important, and they're going to want to bring that in their book bag each and every day so that they're prepared for class. That is all in terms of the classroom experience. I'm happy to answer any questions now. Again, we will see 2 videos at the end of the presentation that will show you how this class looks at one of our campuses. First, I want to pause just for any questions. All right, great. I'm going to turn the mic over now to Ms. Hinton, who's going to review school culture policies. Ms. Hinton, take it away.
Good afternoon. All right, so the tree that you see in front of you is a tree that we've used for a while. It's called We Are Culture, and it's made up of a number of hands because that's what it takes in order for the culture of our building to run as smoothly as we want it to run. There is a 7-person team for our culture team, starting to my left, I guess the viewers left, I should say, is myself, Ms. Hinton, followed by Mr. Davison, Mr. Lay, and then directly under Mr. Lay, Mr. Beverly, Ms. Stanton, and Mr. Coley, Ms. Stanton, Mr. Beverly, and then our attendance coordinator, who is Mrs. Tyler. So I'd like to welcome you all back. Many of you know that we have a little motto called Work Hard, Play Hard. And as we get ready to go back into this hybrid situation, there are 3 things we'd like you to keep in mind. First and foremost, relax. Secondly, breathe. I know a lot of people may be a little anxious, but because this is something new, it's something different, but think that we have made it this far. So, and we've done it because we've been flexible. So we're asking that you be flexible right along with us. So simultaneous culture is pretty similar to simultaneous teaching. We will be taking care of culture both on Zoom and in a classroom. So I'm going to go over 2 things. I'm going to go over what's new, and I'm going to go over a few reminders. First and foremost is our virtual model, which we've been doing for the majority of the year. And that was the synchronous and the asynchronous work that our kids were doing. But now we're going to go into our hybrid model where our kids are going to be in school 2 days a week. And some will be in 4 days a week. We'll have an A schedule and a B schedule, and we will do this all with safety in mind. So what's new? Our building flow, it's been a while. Like I said, we haven't been in the building in a year. Well, by the time the kids get back, it will actually be a full year. So some things have changed. Ms. Morgan has gone over what some of those changes are, and I'm going to go over some of the other things that culture has had to change. The first thing is safety first, the wearing of masks, washing your hands, and the sanitizer. It will be on the 4th floor, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 1st. They will be in the classroom, and we are going to do all of what we need to do with safety in mind. So how does it look? Morning entry is going to be like this. The students will come in, they're going to go up our north stairwell, and that we're using one stairwell to go up and one stairwell to come down. We're asking that all students and staff stay to the right when transitioning. We have put arrows on the floor that the students will be on so that they can follow the direction of the arrows in order to make sure that we are not coming in contact with each other. We want to maintain social distancing. The teachers that are teaching the students, whether it be virtual or hybrid, will be in the classroom to receive their students as normal. And the teachers who are not teaching will actually be supporting with transitions so that the flow of traffic in the hallway is quick and as minimal as possible. One thing that we will not be doing is we will not be using lockers. At the end of the day, our dismissal process is a bit different than what it has been. We'll be stopping the class about 5 minutes before its normal stop time so that kids can gather up their things, sanitize, and get prepared to leave the building. Each teacher is going to wait for their grade team dean. For 7th and 8th grade, that will be me. To call the class and ensure that social distancing is taking place during the dismissal. The teachers are going to escort their classes down our south stairwell, which is our back stairwell, and they're going to go right out the door into the courtyard. So there won't be any time to like lollygag around or play or anything like that. They're coming down and they're going right out into the courtyard so that they can head home. I know some kids will be picked up, some will be on buses, some will be catching the train. It'll be similar to a fire drill in that I will be the last person off of the floor, so as to make sure that the floor has been cleared in its entirety. All right. Transitions in the hallways are going to look a little different as well. They're going to be 3 minutes long as before, but this time they were asking that students and staff follow the arrows that have been placed in the hallway so that the traffic is just flowing in one direction. We want to still continue to have our joyous and happy occasions and build our relationships during that time period. So there are going to be some staff in there. We'll be shouting out our kids and giving our kickboard editions and all that kind of thing, just to keep the camaraderie high and keep spirits high. Class entry, students are going to be received by their teachers, and preferably we're hoping they have assigned seats. All students will be seated at their socially distanced desks, which you saw earlier, and their laptops and all of their electronics can go in their book bag and be placed on the desk next to them, or on the back of their chair, because they're not using lockers. During class dismissal, the actual end of a class, we're going to follow the same procedure. They're going to get ready for dismissal about 5 minutes before the end of class. The teacher will call 3 students at a time once that bell rings, so that there's a steady flow of traffic, but also a socially distanced flow of traffic. And there will be teacher support in the hallway as well in order to make sure that happens. Bathrooms and water. So it's gonna be set up pretty similar to a testing situation. Their teachers are going to call the dean or text the dean and let us know that a student has to go to the bathroom, and then we will instruct them on what to do with that student, whether we'll be picking them up or they can send them into the hallway and we will take them down to the bathroom so that they can utilize the bathroom. There will only be one student in a boy bathroom and a girl bathroom at a time, so as not to have students getting close to each other, because we want to maintain that social distancing and make sure that safety procedures are followed to the letter. Students will be expected to follow the green arrows, and if I am not available at the time a student has to go to a bathroom, I'll still get the text message and I'll reach out to another dean who will come and escort that student. During lunch entry, the classes are going to be escorted to the caf by the teacher down the south stairwell, and the non-grade team deans will be there to receive them. So basically what will happen is I will also be the last one off of the floor during the lunch period. The other deans will be there to receive them in the cafeteria to make sure that they are seated and getting ready for lunch. And then I will come down to assist during the lunchtime. At the dismissal, we're going to stop 5 minutes before, as just like we did with the classes at the end of the lunches. The deans will begin to dismiss the students. The teachers who have the students will be coming to pick them up and take them up the north stairwell, because that is the designated up stairwell. The teachers without class supports will be in the hallway for transitions from the cafeteria, just to make sure that that traffic flow is continuous and safe. All right. So going home, which is always a task for our middle school kids, we want them to make sure that if they are traveling together, they stay together, because I know some of our middle school kids go home with their older siblings or with their friends or with, you know, people who live in their neighborhood. If they travel, if they have a particular group that they travel with, then they need to stay with that group. They need to wear their mask and pay attention to their surroundings. For some of my seventh graders, this might be the first time that they're traveling on their own. So, you know, whatever it is, whatever instructions you have given them, please make sure that they are clear on what it is they need to do. If for any reason that they need to, they can contact a parent or guardian before they leave the building or in that courtyard. A dean would be more than happy to make a phone call so that you know that they're getting ready to leave. And then you can kind of track their travel time from there. Or if it's a case where they have to text you, just let us know. If you are picking your child up, you can do so. Just, you know, pull up in front of the boards, I would suggest, as opposed to pulling up right in front of the school, so that you don't get a ticket or you don't have to be harassed by the Philadelphia police. Attendance. So attendance is really important. Attendance is twofold. Attendance for our kids who are on Zoom, they have to go to their Zoom class, they have to log into Schoology, and they have to make sure that they are submitting their work at the end of the day so that they can be counted present. Attendance for our kids who are hybrid or in the classroom, they're physically coming to school, they're going to get marked present, but they still need to submit their work in Schoology. So just like they did if they were home, they want to make sure that they submit their work in Schoology so that they can continue to get their credit from their teachers and for their attendance. You are present, you're submitting your work, and you're earning kickboard dollars, because when our kids are getting their attendance points, they're also getting kickboard cash. All right. If you need to reach out to anyone on the culture team, here are their numbers. My number, well, I'm actually the lead dean. My number is 215-435-8470. Many of you probably already know, because I send out quite a few texts in the morning and in the afternoon for you. Mr. Lay is our 9th and 10th grade dean. So those of you who have students who are in high school, you'll be having this orientation with Mr. Lay and Mr. Beverly as well in presence. And then Ms. Stanton, she does our zones in our SEL, and she also supports Ms. Tyler with attendance. And Ms. Tyler is our almighty attendance coordinator. She is the one who, you know, you send your letters to when your child is sick or you have a court appointment or a doctor's appointment. All right, few reminders. So our behavior infraction system is a tiered system. Our level 1s are those infractions that affect the values of our community. In other words, you know, you're late, you are not following classroom expectations, maybe you have to be redirected a few times. With that case, those are usually taken care of by the teacher. The dean very rarely has to get involved with a level 1 situation. Your level 2s are safety concerns and learning, or where learning has stopped. And your level 3s are those serious incidents where students may get into fights, or it gets to a point where staff has to really get involved and break students apart. When we talk about level twos, I really want to stress this piece. This is important because this is where the dean actually gets involved. Anything from a level 2 on up would require dean assistance. And that's basically whenever the safety of the classroom or the Zoom room has been jeopardized, or the learning in the classroom or the Zoom room has stopped because of a behavior, because of some things that may have been said, because of very negative interactions. So we try to encourage our kids to stay away from those types of behaviors, to reach out to their teachers before it can even get to that level. Or even some of them have their dean's number and they text the dean and say, hey, can you pop into my room? I just need a moment. I need to talk to you, or this is what's happening. And we will see what's going on and then help the student work through that situation. Electronic free zones. So basically electronics should not be seen or heard for any reason from 7:50 a.m. to 3:04 p.m. Students will already have will be able to use their headphones and their laptops if they are in the cafeteria for the hybrid class. But other than that, they should not have any headphones or cell phones in the classroom. They should not have headphones or cell phones during their lunch period. And their location or destination or grade does not change the rules. And most of that is for safety reasons. A lot of times what happens is you take your cell phone out, you use it, somebody else may touch it, somebody else may pick it up, you drop it, somebody has to pick it up, and then we got a whole cross-contamination thing going on. Or my cell phone looks like your cell phone and I pick it up and I think it's mine and then I walk away with it. Now we have a bigger issue at hand. So just to make sure that we don't have those issues, we ask that students do not have their cell phones out in class. And since they are allowed to have their book bag in class, they can put their cell phones in their headphones or their AirPods in their book bags. Zoom bombing incidents. So we have had some of that. What we are doing to prevent that is making sure that students put their first and last name on their screen before entering the classroom. And we are asking that students do that. If not, they may not get into the classroom. One of the reasons we are doing that is for safety. We had a few where people tried to get into the room and they wanted to disrupt what was going on. That is a level 2 incident, possible level 3 incident, depending on the severity and the intensity of it. That will get a parent called, that will have a student sent home, that could possibly have a student have even more severe consequences depending on what the situation is. And like I say, the intensity of the situation. Appropriate school uniform. So 7th and 8th grade are going to wear the blue polo shirts. I know some parents have reached out to some of the culture team members and reached out to the front desk in reference to like, hey, how can I get a shirt? We will be selling some shirts. I would say that if you send your child to school with $15, if you just can't find a shirt between now and Tuesday, they could get a shirt and possibly come home with some change. 9th through 12th grade will be wearing the gray Mastery shirt, and it could be long sleeve or short sleeve, but it has to have the Mastery logo for both of them. All right, footwear. So students may wear the shoes of their choice with the exception of the following: no flip-flops, no sandals, no slides, slingbacks, no sandals of any kind, no clogs, those UGG clogs that some of my kids like to wear. They are a safety hazard because they don't have enough backing to prevent them from sliding off as they go up and down the steps. They are not allowed to wear slippers or any shoe that does not fully cover the heel and the toe. So restorative practices is something that we have here in our building. We have a number of supports available for our students, and I am the one who runs the restoratives. Basically what it does is help build and maintain or repair relationships between student to student, student to staff. And, if parents have issue, they want to talk with a teacher and they want to do a restorative with a teacher, I've even run some of those as well. Basically, restorative practices just helps us to discover a logical consequence for whatever harm was done, whatever the misbehavior happened to be. When the level 2 occurs, restorative practices is part of what goes on with the logical consequences. I will sit the two parties down and we will talk about what it is that happened. We'll talk about how it was perceived by both parties. And then we'll talk about ways to repair the relationship or repair the harm that was done. Another support that we have in place is our zones programming, and some of you may have already heard your children talk about it. Ms. Stanton runs our zones program, and basically what that is a way to regulate your responses, your feelings, and your emotions. There are 4 zones, and we'll always do a zones check with our kids, like, hey, what zone are you in? You can be in blue where you're feeling sad, sick, tired. You could be in green, but our hope is that our kids will always find their way to green if they're not in green, where they are happy, calm, and feeling okay. But sometimes that might not be the case. You might be in the yellow zone where you're like frustrated or you're worried or you're feeling a little bit excited and you don't have total control of, yourself in the moment. And then there's always the red zone that we try to stay away from. But the reality is we get mad, we get angry. Sometimes we're terrified about change. Sometimes we are just not, in control of our emotions. Miss Stanton is a wonderful person to have the kids go to. What she does is she does this thing called stop, opt, and go. And she tells them, all right, so let's stop, let's think before we act, and let's talk about the situation. Let's look at it. Is the situation as big as it needs to be? Or is it something that can be handled? And then she will help them talk about their options. The goal is to get the student to figure out what their options are. And then at the end, go with your option. Go with the option that is best suited to you, that will also be beneficial to coming out with a positive end result. Mr. Beverly does what's called kickboard, and he's our Jeff Bezos of mastery. If you could go to the next slide for me, Mr. Ziamba, yeah, because I'll talk to him about that with this slide in mind as well. He is the one who runs our kickboard store. It can be virtual, it's live. Students are able to use their kickboard money, which is earned in the classroom. Teachers give out kickboard cash. The administration, the deans, we give out kickboard cash when we see kids doing the right thing. I always tell them, let me catch you doing something right so I can pay you. I've given out kickboard cash to students who have come to Middle School Madness. They've gotten kickboard cash for all sorts of things. And then what they can do is go online and make a purchase. So we're kind of like the Amazon of mastery. And that is pretty much it that I have to share. I thank you all for being here with us. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me or put them in the chat. Or, if you want to text me, you can text me, because if you have my number, I'll put my number in the chat as well for my 7th and 8th grade team.
Hi, Miss Hinton. This is Miss Burnett, India's mom. Hey, Miss Morgan. How is everyone doing? Mrs. Ziamba, how are you?
Hi, Miss Burnett. How are you? What can I do for you?
Hi.
So I got on kind of late because I was still at work and I had another prior case. But I guess I heard everything else from when I got on, but then I think I missed the part about with the 7th and 8th graders. What is the dress code for them?
They're going to be in regular uniform. The 7th and 8th grade will wear the blue polo shirt. And if the one that she had from, what'd you say?
I'm sorry, is that full uniform, pants and shirt?
Yes, ma'am. Black pants or navy blue pants.
Okay.
We're just one adjustment. We're actually giving away free uniform shirts. So we are able to supply folks that are coming back or students coming back in person with free uniform shirts. So just one adjustment to the uniform expectation. We will provide some shirts for students.
Excuse me. Is there a stipulation on that? How are you go about getting a free shirt?
When they come the first day, we'll have shirts available.
Okay, so are you just going to give it to the student, or she said we had to have $15? So does that change now, or? That will change
once they come that first day. If they don't have a uniform shirt, not a problem. We will provide uniform shirts on that first day.
Yeah, because okay, well, I'll just send him an extra one just to have an extra one, because my kid's kind of tall now, so he hasn't been in school in almost a year and a half. So you know.
Do your best. Be flexible. If the shirt doesn't fit, we do not expect them to wear the shirt. It is not a big deal the first day. We will adjust. We will get the shirts. I want your student to be in school. So don't worry,
Oh,
and we will get them set up with shirts. I promise you.
all right,
So
cool.
my,
Thank you.
Of course.
so my only issue is, so I didn't go out and buy a bunch of school uniforms because of the uncertainty of returning. But so just for um, well, actually, I'll probably have time to get my daughter some pants, some bottoms, because sitting at home, I think I know for her she picked up some weight, so she definitely can't fit our old uniforms. But I will definitely invest in a pair of pants or two. Now, far as the computers, they will still bring their computers to school.
Yes, they'll bring their computers to school. We are asking that if they don't have a case, bring a book bag so that they can carry them from one class to the other. The one thing that we want to make sure is that if they don't drop them and break them while they're moving from point A to point B.
Okay.
And again, I want to.
I apologize for the redundant questions, but I did again. I apologize to the other parents who heard the information already, but I did get on kind of late, so I just wanted to get some clarity.
It's totally okay.
Okay.
We want to make sure that the uniform flexibility is in place. So if for some reason you need some flexibility or grace with the uniforms, we're not sending your kid home. They should come to school. That is totally fine. We'll get things straightened out that first week.
Okay, and then I heard about I did catch the tail end of the transitioning. So will the kids still transition in between classes, or it'll just be more in the class and the teachers transition?
No, they will transition in between classes, but they won't be out in the hallway gathering together like we did, prior to COVID. They will be sent out a few at a time. There are arrows on the floors for them to follow. It'll be directional. And then they just go from whatever class they're leaving to the class that they're going to, and then we start class.
Is there some type of I don't want to say disciplinarian I don't know. I don't want to say disciplinarian structure, but I guess what I'm asking is, for example, if children like need, to be able to breathe, get some fresh air, or just, feel the need to take their mask down for a few or whatever, how does that work? Because my daughter knows she can't take her mask off. Like that's just not happening if she wants to go in person. But I'm saying for other kids that do it, whether it just be on purpose or not, like what is like how does that look?
So students who do not follow the keep your mask on procedure or policy, we will have to, that is a disciplinary issue. It's a safety issue. So at that point, it becomes a level 2 and we reach out to a parent and, the consequences that go along with that, go along with that.
Yeah, just to echo that, we'll deal with it. And I've talked to a number of principals who have already reopened schools. This actually hasn't been a big issue. Like students generally comply with the mask policy. Everyone wants to be safe. Yeah, there's some slips every once in a while, but we can just do a reminder and adjust. That happens anywhere. So we are ready to deal with it if we need to. But my hope is, like many other schools, it's not a big deal.
Okay, and then I'm sorry again, please forgive me, but so will the Lenfest students, will they be tested weekly as well?
Yes, they will. As long as you sign up for testing, we will test students every week. We're hiring a number of nurses to conduct testing throughout the day for our students each week.
Okay, but I don't have to fill out the consent form every week, or is that just a one-time deal?
Just the one time.
Okay, thank you.
And Miss Burnett,
right,
I'm actually recording. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hinton, I have your phone number. Mr. Ziemba, I have yours. Ms. Morgan, I have yours. So I'm not going to flood the time for, everybody's time. I'm not going to flood with no more questions, but I will, if I have any more, I will definitely reach out. So I'm done.
One thing I do want to
Miss
encourage,
Burnett.
we're recording this, so you can go back and watch it if you want to. And it's going to
Oh, awesome.
see all the safety. So I'll put that on Parent Square either tonight or tomorrow morning, and feel free to watch. Like, you'll be able to see the entire presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. All right, last thing before we leave, I want to show you a couple classes from our Pickett campus. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to reshare my screen. We're going to see 2 very short videos from these classes. Remember, this is the first day of their instruction, so let me just make sure. Oh. All right, hold on 1 sec. All right, here we go. We're going to check out a couple videos. All right, that is clip 1. And as you can see from that clip, students that are in person are interacting. There's also students that are on virtually. Every student is participating. The teacher is generally stable at their desk, but is able to interact with both the students that are here in person and also students that are on Zoom virtually. Here's another example from our Pickett campus. All right, we will stop there. As you can see, that gives you kind of a vision of what this will look like. The classes are going to differ a little bit, but this gives you a vision of what this is going to look like. Social distancing in place, everyone engaged, and hopefully a good experience for your students. Are there any questions before we sign off for tonight?
My only question is,
Go ahead.
my only question is the school start still at 8 o'clock?
Doors open at 7:50. So 7:50, we'll start allowing students to go to their advisory.
Okay, thank you.
Miss Burnett, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. I just had one more question. Not sure if it was answered, but trans passes, are they still giving the children trans passes?
I can speak to that. Yes, they'll get them on the first day. They just have to get themselves to school on day 1. And then from there, moving forward, they will receive trans passes during the day.
Okay, thank you.
And is there any other questions before we sign off for tonight? All right, one quick reminder, students that are coming back have a virtual orientation tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Information was sent via Parent Square. Advisors reminded students this morning in advisory, but they should report directly to virtual orientation tomorrow. They're going to have a very similar presentation from all of us to ensure they're clear when they return back to the building next week. If there's not any other questions, thank you so much for coming out. Again, this is recorded. I will post it as soon as I can. We are so excited to have students back in the building, and we just appreciate all your efforts and flexibility this year. So have a great night, everyone, and thanks again.